Never seen such a perfect sanctuary. It's built on a slope, and the whole process has not been used, but it makes it strong and durable. The interior space not only easily accommodates one person, and building an oversized fireplace in the corner, you can cook food as well as heat. Taylor went into the mountains as usual on this day. Accidentally, a depression formed by two soil slopes was found. The terrain is hidden. You can also use the slope on both sides as a wall. The perfect place to build a shelter. Action is better than action. Tyler immediately took the spade out of his backpack. First, clean up the dead branches and rotten leaves piled up on the ground. Then excavate and repair the soil slopes on both sides. Create a flat cross section. Use this to plan the floor area of the shelter. Thanks to the softer soil here, he soon dug up a flat foundation. And Tyler pulls out his handsaw, saw off the two extra branches, make enough room. And he started to plan the interior. Dig out the low-lying area on one side first, as a place for daily activities. A platform that is naturally raised on the other side. It can be used as a bed for rest. Finish these, Tyler turned and headed for the nearby woods. Start collecting logs for construction. Fortunately, this forest is rich in dead wood resources, and it's naturally dried over time. The wood is very dry, non-perishable deformation. It's the perfect material. After moving the logs back, he first picked out a few of them, sharpened one end with an axe. And then it goes around the walls, as a load-bearing column for the hut. Then put a measuring pen on the top of the column. After measuring the placement position, cut grooves on the contact surface, make it better connected and fixed. To prevent shaking, he drilled holes in the joints again. Hole. Knock in homemade wooden nails. Lock the upper and lower logs firmly. Same thing on the other side, splicing out the main frame of the hut. After completing the construction of the framework, Taylor sets off again, selected some very flexible branches nearby. And clean up the messy branches on the surface. Only keep the thick part at the bottom. And then we bend them into the right curvature, into the dirt slopes on both sides, the keel frame that makes up the roof. Such a structure is not only more stable under force, it can also drain quickly in rainy and snowy weather. And here's the thing, the thermal insulation effect is also higher than that of the flat-top structure. But before blocking the roof, Tyler decided to dig a hole in the side first, reserve a place for the fireplace. Then saw some wooden segments of the same length. Also sharpen one end. Insert a circle along the edge of the pothole. Make up the supporting frame inside the furnace. To close the gaps between the logs, he ran specifically to the nearby creek, filled with a bag of clear mountain spring water, fell into the mound in front of the door. Stir repeatedly. Blend a pure natural adhesive. Then the clay is evenly applied to the surface of the frame. It can isolate the high temperature and prevent the log from being ignited. It can completely close the gap. Make sure there is no smoke leakage during use. While the clay naturally dries, Taylor wasn't idle either. He began searching the surrounding rocks for moss. And this material is not only found in forests everywhere, it also has a good thermal insulation and waterproof effect. First, spread a layer evenly along the soil slope on the back. Put the logs on, stacking up. It forms a thick wall, effectively block cold wind from blowing into the house. Then he sawed some more pieces of wood. Build up along the exhaust. Each layer is sealed with clay. Ensure structural stability without leakage of smoke. And this part of the distance above the ground can be. Avoid smoke pouring back into the house when the wind blows. After the chimney is completed, Tyler collected some dry wood nearby, successfully lit the fireplace. While testing the smoke exhaust effect, it also accelerates the hardening of clay. This makes the structure more durable. Then he continued to bring in logs, close the gap in the walls on both sides. Finish these. He sat in the doorway and took a deep breath. After the physical strength is restored, so he started plugging the roof. Since the curved support frame has been made before, now all you have to do is lay the logs in sequence. As for the gaps between the logs, he still chose to seal it with moss. Can shelter from wind and rain. It locks in the heat. And so decorated. The appearance of the cabin is fully integrated into the surrounding environment. Now even if a drone flies through the sky, it's also hard to find it. Dizzy so far, Tyler's stomach was growling with hunger, so he took pots and pans out of his backpack. I plan to cook a pot for myself. Hot and stomach-warming pork rib soup. Put the prepared side dishes into the pot first. Pour in another 2 yuan 5 bottles of mineral water. Finally sprinkle some salt to taste. Put it on the fire and simmer it slowly. While the soup is stewing, he's not idle either. Get up and continue to perfect the rest of the hut. First splice the doorframe of the entrance and exit with branches. Then I saw out the regular wooden segments. Start plugging the last wall. Building up layer by layer along the edge. In order to prevent the cold wind from getting in through the gap between each layer of logs, it's all evenly coated with clay. This not only has better sealing, the entire wall will also be more durable. Then he found another branch, bend into a shape that fits the doorframe. Arrange the rest of the wooden sections tightly one by one, secure to the frame. Splice together a strong door panel. As for the gaps between the logs, it is still sealed with the omnipotent moss. Clean out the outside. Tyler glanced back at the rib soup in the fireplace. The heat hasn't arrived yet. He grabbed another bundle of wooden pieces, sharpen one end with an axe, knock into the ground one by one along the walls around the bed, prevent the soil on the wall from loosening and falling off. Looking at the still empty room, he's out again. I found a fallen dead tree by the stream next to it, saw off flat pieces of wood from it. Lay them on the bed. Make a solid wood bed board. This will block the moisture seeping from the ground. Sleep dry and comfortable. After this arrangement, the cottage is also fully equipped for occupancy. Busy time always goes by quickly. Unknowingly, the sky outside has completely darkened. Tyler went back into the house with his backpack, closed the wooden door gently, keep the night and the cold out, and he pulled a blanket out of his backpack, spread on the freshly made bedboard. Start preparing for today's dinner. Knead a dough cake with flour first. Bake in the fireplace until golden brown and crisp on both sides. Take advantage of this time, and cut some refreshing side dishes. And that pot of pork rib soup that had been stewed for most of the day, it's completely stewed at the moment, soft and rotten meat, even an 80-year-old without teeth. You can also eat. Served with crispy biscuits fresh out of the oven, it's quite hearty. After eating and drinking, he put his backpack on his head. Began my first night in this cabin.